He'll have to join it. I personally called him. He's not in yet, but we'll have to see. Like Heretic, are you here? I do not see a speaking bubble. Oh no, I cannot hear him. Can you guys hear him though? It may be something with my headset. It may have been here. Let me restart Discord. I may have opened Discord before I
You
switched to
there,
the
man?
headset. Oh wait, is that? Wait, hello.
Hello?
Yo, we got. Can you guys hear him now? Can you hear him now? I can hear him. Yes, you hear him now. Fantastic. All right, so let me flip the title over here real quick, buddy, and I will. All right, awesome. So, barely, you can barely hear him. All right, I'll turn him up. I'll let me turn you up here so all the fans can hear you. And
Put it on video if you. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but.
oh, dude, yeah, we could absolutely get you on video. Let me first figure out how I can actually turn you up from the video, and then we can absolutely go into that user settings. Output volume. Here, I'll just turn him up on the desktop audio. Talk again.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm here.
Is that better for you guys? Is that way better? No, Steve, that means his mic's in another country, right?
What's up?
Great. Oh no, chat's Milan's giving you a hard time, but
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so actually, I can pull you over and put your beautiful face on the share screen here. And all right, guys. So here we go. We are here with world-renowned Heretic. Now, if you'd like, do you want to give everybody a little bit of background on you and your involvement with just the Pokemon community in general, competitive play, and everything?
Well, I mean, it's like it started like I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time, and then I switched up back over to Pokemon, which I played like back in the Wizards of the Coast era. So I had a little bit of familiarity with the game, but not like it had been like almost 10 years.
Okay.
So I kind of came back and I was like, I know the basic mechanics. I just need to kind of pick it back up. Played the back half of that season, did pretty well at Nats. That was in 2012. And then started doing YouTube. My channel kind of blew up like a happy accident, so it was a lot of fun. But
Yeah. No. Wait. Plug that YouTube channel. Plug it.
okay, yeah, that is World Renowned Heretic. No spaces. I shortened my name to WRHeretic so that it actually fits.
Yeah.
In, when there's less characters available.
Right.
But I'm hoping that I'll be able to do more on my channel, probably like towards the end of the summer, like doing some Twitch streaming as well.
Mhm.
Once we get back home in probably by the end of the week, we're staying with my in-laws for this week so that my wife doesn't have to use the stairs. But we when we get back home, I'll be able to do that, and we're looking forward to it because next season I won't be traveling as much. Like I kind of took this last season off. Originally, it was just going to be like until New Year's. And then it just turned into the whole year where I just wanted to kind of better myself as a player and focus on some other things at home. For those of you guys who don't know, the reason my wife can't use the stairs right now, she actually just gave birth to our second son on Thursday.
Could we get some Pog champs in the chat for that second son birth? What's his name?
So, Mason Lane.
Mason Lane, guys. Can we get some congrats, man? How cool is that? How cool is that? Does he not look like a happy father? Look at him. Look at him.
It's been so exciting, and it's really just it's so incredible. I mean, it was like this when Axel was born, and now again with Mason, and it's so great. But because I have two kids now, like I probably won't be traveling as much next season, like I said. So like the winning in tournaments, like starting them when you did, just such a fantastic thing for me. Like it's like, hey, I can't travel as much. Oh wait, I can play these online. Like sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I've just been, like I've been looking forward to just doing that like each one of my rounds, and like I was fortunate enough to see your post for the second tournament like right after it went up, like go sign up for it, and like not miss anything. So that was really cool. So like really looking forward to getting back into YouTube and Twitch as well.
Okay, awesome. So now let's shift focus a little bit. Now that we've kind of got everybody introduced to who you are. You actually entered our. By the way, guys, I'm just making all these questions up on the spot. So, but you actually entered our Test 128 event.
That's correct.
And you actually made it to the top 8. You got beat by T Nunsky, winning in zone T Nunsky in top 8. And now, do you want to run us kind of through your, if you can remember back that far, just kind of your thought process of going through the winners bracket and then eventually going into the losers bracket, and kind of like that, what did you do to prepare for that? Did it take a lot of mental fortitude being in that losers bracket, knowing this could be my last game?
I mean, I kind of took like going to the losers bracket, like I kind of just took that kind of like if I was even though it was my first loss, I kind of took it like if I was at a regional, like, okay, well, I've just taken my second loss. So if I lose again, I can't make day 2 or something like that. You know, and for me, that kind of like the tournament kind of was like my NAIC, since even though I was present there, I wasn't playing because could have given birth at any moment. Fortunately, I live in Columbus, so it's I could just be like, all right, I'm gonna go hang out. But if something happens, then I'm out of here. But so I played the same deck that I would have played if I had been in NAIC, and I feel like I did pretty well with it. Obviously, you're gonna have games here and there where things don't always go your way, but it runs pretty smoothly. It ran very well in that event, and I'd have to say I'm pretty pleased with where it took me. Obviously, the goal is to win the whole thing.
Of course, but top 8's not a bad consolation.
Get into top 8, yeah. Out of 128 players, like I'm not complaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
It went very well.
Okay. So, now, if you guys don't know the other great part of this storyline, though, in round 1 of this 256 event, WRHeretic actually got paired against T Nunsky again to get the revenge in this match, and he actually he took this match 2-0. Now, I don't know if if maybe you just want to first give your insight on this match. You were playing, were you playing the exact same deck that you played in the 128?
I changed my one prize attackers because, the matchups the matchups with Travis, both of them, really wouldn't have affected any of it. But I used to run 2 of the baby Mews from Fate's Collide.
Okay.
That could copy my bench attacks, and I cut those because against the quad baby Buzzwole, that just it really hurts you. They just knock it out for 50 damage with a strong or a Diancie, and then a 30 damage Sledgehammer. So I swapped them out for the promo Dawn Wings and the promo the pressure Mewtwo. Although I'm already thinking that I probably should have played the Steam Siege Hoopa, the baby Hoopa, instead of the Mewtwo, since the Dawn Wings already has the resistance, which is essentially the same as pressure. The only difference is the bench damage, still being 30. But I haven't really had that many problems with Buzzwole GX. Like Buzzwole GX, really, it doesn't scare me at all. Like I just kind of go right through it. But it was interesting against Travis because we got paired up in, like you said, in the losers bracket in the first tournament, and he was playing Glyphosate Garbodor then. And I was playing the same deck. It's, for those of you guys who don't know, it's Ultra Necrozma Malamar. It's a list I built from the ground up when the Japanese scans were released, back in late March, and it went through X number of changes. So it's been through the dirt and the muck, more times than I can really count. I've played so many games with it, played it with proxies. By the time the pre-release hit, I think I had most of my list set up. So playing against Glyphosate Garbodor was a little bit awkward because the 2 big Garbodor decks that I was really ready for were Espeon Garb and Buzzwole Garb. And both of those, even though they lock my abilities down, have big 2 prize attackers that they focus on that are weak against Psychic. So I can just charge up a Dawn Wings or charge up something like that and just go right in with it and take 1-hit knockouts, and just the same as I can against other decks with Ultra Necrozma. So that didn't really bother me. I did play against an Espeon Garb in the losers bracket before I played against Travis, and I ended up taking that down. And actually just played against a Buzzwole Garbodor my round 2 of this tournament, just about an hour and a half, 2 hours, not even 2 hours ago, I don't think. Maybe it was more like 2 hours ago. I don't remember. Whatever time.
Yeah, but, you got babies on the brain right now. You got bigger fish to fry.
What that clock says is just a few numbers.
Yeah, right.
You have an infant, that it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, exactly.
Either feeding time or it's sleeping time, and
but never for you, just for the baby.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
I have a 3-year-old to take care of.
Of course. So let me ask you
But
this: when you sat down across from Metagross,
yeah,
is that what you expected Travis to be playing?
not at all. I was very surprised to see. I was honestly kind of worried he was going to play Golly Garb again. Um, I've kind of been toying around with this Gallade Octillery deck that runs like one Gardevoir and a bunch of Gallades, which I know a variant of it, like a bit of a different. It's a bit different, but a variant of it actually top aided the Valencia.
The
So I run with
Valencia,
that.
exactly. Yeah, we saw the four the quad Gallade.
Yeah, like mine is like 3 Gallade and then one Gardevoir, but I don't run like the Zoroark or anything like that. I just run like the Diancie, the Regirock, so that you can get with the choice band, you get 190 with the Gallade, and I almost played it. But I was like, no, I'm gonna play the deck that I've been playing with ever since the spoilers, the translations came out for Forbidden Light. I'm like, like the deck is fire. Like, absolutely love the list. Like, and I'm proud that I didn't, just be like, oh, well, here's a list someone else made and then just copy and paste it. Like, I run 4 Max Elixirs in my list. Run no Ultra Ball, because you have Mysterious Treasure and you have Bridget, so it's just like I don't really feel like Ultra Ball is necessary. And I've been told by everybody that that's wrong, and that 1B string is just stupid because it's just sacky. But I'm just like, you know what? This list has been running for me. If I find a reason to change it, like, if I start losing a matchup, if I feel like maybe something might be better, then obviously we test that out. But it's really just been running the way it is, like, for ever since the proxy days. I went and won a League Cup up in Michigan the weekend of Virginia regionals, because I found out the Szymanskis were in Virginia, and I was like, oh, they're not in town. I'm 356. I'm just gonna casually go up here and get my invite.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
And ended up doing that. So yeah, so that was really cool. That was last weekend in May, I think, whenever Virginia was. But I've been playing pretty much almost the exact same list ever since. Like I said,
Okay.
I changed the mute out for this tournament. But Metagross, like, I was surprised. Like, I was very surprised actually to see Travis playing that. But honestly, I breathed a bit of a sigh of relief when he flipped over a Beldum, and I was like, oh, thank goodness, I actually win this matchup.
Okay, so you think that's a pretty favorable matchup for you then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this: there was a moment in game 1 where Travis had it set up where you took a knockout on I believe it was an active Metagross, and he had a Vulpix on the bench with a metal, and he had a Metang on the bench and another, like, I think it was another Metagross, and he had the option where he could promote one of those two, or he could promote the Vulpix, and he didn't choose to promote the Vulpix, at which point he didn't have the metal energy to attack. He had the one bring back from the Metagross, but he didn't actually have an energy then to get the 3 to take the knockout with the choice band on the active. He had the Delmise on the bench, he had the choice band, he had everything he needed, but he didn't have he didn't promote the Vulpix to retreat. Had he promoted that Vulpix, retreated, taken the knockout on the Ultra Necrozma, the board state would have been relatively clear on your side. He would have had a 4-4 prize trade with 2 Metagross ready and rocking. He just didn't have the metal in the discard to use them. So do you think in that circumstance where he's got 2 Metagross on board, 1 fully powered up and attacking, that can one-shot an Ultra Necrozma, and you had 2 Malmar at the time? Do you think that's a board state that he would frequently win? Or are you fairly confident you would have been able to hit that damage, the 4 energy to take the knockout?
I mean, it really comes down to, like, I'd have to go back and watch the VOD and see, like, what I had gone through already, because the way I look at that, how many metal energies and my beast energy, like how many Ultra Necrozmas, what all is in my discard at that point? Because like you said, like 2 Malamars, I've got 4 float stones in the deck. I've got the Dawn Wings, which is usually going to have a float unless it gets field lowered. So basically, it all comes down to hitting. Like, I'd have to have some kind of draw if I didn't have everything just like the perfect hand, and I'd have to hit the Ultra Necrozma, and then either like the Beast Energy or one of my metals, and then like, or I could just hit the B string. I mean, like, it's a 1-of, so I don't really like to count on hitting that. But or like a Max Elixir, just a Max Elixir to hit either a metal or a psychic, and then attach the other from hand. Double Malamar, and then that would be 3 to discard. That would be 260 damage.
Yeah.
It would be a KO.
Yep.
And at that point, he's down to 1 Malamar or 1 Metagross. So even if he does return that knockout, like, I feel like he's only charging up one at a time. He's not getting another Metagross. You can't use the Metagross attack 2 turns in a row, which I'm fairly comfortable with then. The board state I want to be in, no, definitely not. That first game, I definitely took a little too long to accelerate to set up. I remember there was a turn where I had one energy on my Ultra Necrozma. I had 2 Malamars in the discard pile, I think it was, or maybe it was 2 energy on the Necro and 1 Malamar. I don't remember, but I had, with the Malamars and the energy on board, I had enough to get 3 energy, which would have been 180 damage with the Necrozma. So I needed 1 more to knock out his Metagross. And I had the free retreat. So I had a max elixir and I played it and missed the energy entirely. So I was like, okay, well, I have a Cynthia, so I'm going to redraw Cynthia. And I only had like 1 or two. Like I had most of my psychic were still in the deck. And so I Cynthia'd for 6 and then still whiffed it. And so obviously I couldn't retreat at that point, so I'm just kind of looking at the board state like, okay, if he's got Guzma, like he can knock me out. I think I field blowered his choice band or whatever, or something, just to be like, okay, I'm going to make you have choice band Guzma in hand. But, like that was a moment where normally, if I hit either the energy off of Cynthia or the max elixir, and I run a lot of energy, so like it's usually pretty likely, especially given how few I'd used. Like, that was a moment where I felt like most of the time I'm going to hit one or the other, and I'm going to get that knockout, and then I'm going to be in the driver's seat from there. And that was before the Vulpix happened. Yeah. But I do remember when he did not promote the Vulpix, and I was thinking the same thing to myself. Like, unless I'm missing something here, like that was a misplay.
Yeah, because you need the energy, absolutely. Yeah.
He could promote it, retreat it, and he doesn't really care about that Vulpix for the rest of the game anyway.
Exactly. And so there was another instance where even after that, it was 4-3 in prizes. You were ahead, and you had to promote a Malmar. I think it was maybe that turn where the attack wasn't going to come off, and you promoted the Malmar up, and he had the option of either Guzma taking a knockout on something on the bench, or he had the out to knocking that Malmar out. Knocking the Malmar puts him in a position where he could either take the knock on, like, tie it at 3 and not activate Dawnwings, or he could activate your Dawnwings, and by taking a knockout on something else, which is what he did. Do you think that as a player you should always try to play around the Dawnwings GX attack if you're low on Guzma?
It really depends. I mean, in that scenario, because Metagross, I mean, like, it has a lot of HP, but I think because he had that Tapu Lele on the board, like, if he really wanted to take the knockout there, like, obviously having to use the Guzma, like, he can't end my hand down then, so it's like, how many Guzmas are in my discard pile, like, what are the odds that I have one in hand, or do I have, like, a Lele maybe, like, you are knocking something out, so even if my bench was full, you're giving me another bench spot, like, if I have a Lele. And it was interesting, obviously I wouldn't want to have benched a Lele in there because I believe he did take out Ultra Necrozma at that point. But that creates a really fun scenario for me too, if I can get another Ultra Necrozma out where I can bring out his Tapu Lele and then Moon's Eclipse it, and then even go into, like, my favorite play in the entire deck, which I, like, almost never get to do. I actually did it against I think it was my match tonight, but that Vulpix would still be on his bench, and if I'm at 3 prizes and I take the Tapu Lele out, I go down to 1, which opens up Sky Scorching Light GX, which would actually knock out the Vulpix. So that's like another option I would have.
Yep.
I mean, not only that, but like I had double Malamar, so like I could knock him out anyway. As long as third energy, but if not, like, Sky Scorching Light GX is there. I just need to find the metal. Absolutely. Yeah. I think I super rotted like 2 or 3 metals back into the deck. Just to make sure that I would not whiff it.
Yeah. Now, going into then game 2 from there, game 1 was much closer, arguably would have been even more close had that Vulpix been promoted. Game 2, I think maybe ran a little more textbook how you would expect that matchup to go. It was pretty much a steamroll in that game 2.
Game 2, it was very similar. Like, I actually played against a Metagross in the 128 test trial tournament I believe it was round 3, and game 2 went very similar to how my 2 games went against the Metagross there, if I'm recalling correctly.
Okay.
I do believe that was a 2-0. Okay. But that was again, it was one of those things where Metagross is going to take a couple turns, and I know in that series, my opponent, it actually was a 2-0, I remember, because my opponent got uninterrupted algorithms off both games, and I just was looking at the board, and I just didn't really care. So I said, I'm going to one-shot you. You're going to get your board set up to where you can return KO me, but I'm attacking you with a basic, and you're return KOing me with a stage 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, if someone tries to tell me that Gardevoir beats me, and I just say, like, I don't necessarily believe that, because again, yes, it hits me for weakness, and it has a very easy time one-shotting me, even though I only have 1 energy when they hit me, because I'm at a point where I'm trading basics for stage 2s, and I'm probably going to take a prize or 2 early before they get their board set up.
And it's much harder for them to streamline those Gardevoirs, whereas you can just, Ultra Ball and find yourself, another Ultra Necrozma.
Yeah, I can just go Mysterious Treasure for Ultra Necrozma and then late game Super Rod. And I run 3 Ultra Necrozmas instead of only 2 as well. So, like, I'm always going to have that. Like, I've got 4 metal plus the Beast Energy, so I got tons of energy to power it up, to hit off Max Elixir, to draw into, plenty of Psychic, to use Malamar to accelerate. At some point, I might get Beast Ring as an option. And then with Gardevoir, even, you actually have the option to go Beast Energy Choice Band, and then you only need the 3 energy total, because you hit 240 then. with Metagross, you don't really have that option, so the Beast Energy wasn't really a priority to me. It was just another metal in that.
Absolutely.
But it varies. Like, I think this list has a lot of good matchups. I keep getting told that I lose to Zoroark, but I mean, my record against Zoroark, like, it's with this list is absolutely phenomenal. Because you basically, like, you get the Choice Band, or you get the Beast Energy, you're doing 210. You're not going to Zoroark, a Lycanroc, Golisopod. Like, the only Zoroark variant that honestly scares me is the one, which unfortunately is getting more popular.
Yeah.
AIC, and then it won. The same person won. What was the Valencia?
Valencia, yep.
So now it's like, okay, I'm trying to figure out, like, because this is like the one Zoro variant that really does scare me. Like, the Delinquent scares me a little bit in Tord's list, but I mean, I'm kind of like, if I get my board set up just on my bench, then I don't know how much it matters. You know? Like, I mean, I've been down to 1 or 2 cards and just not cared, because I'm like, I have checkmate on them.
Yeah, you've got all the energy you could ever need, and your attackers are out and ready to swing. Absolutely.
Yeah, I have energy, I have Float Stone, I have Invasion, and it's like, all right, like, you have to hit, like, Field Blowers, and then you have to take a knockout, and these Zoroark decks don't take one-shots outside of Dangerous Road.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to eventually kill you. You can drag something up, like, you can one-shot my Malamar, but then I'm just going to Max Elixir or Beast Ring, or I'm going to do something, and then I'm just going to come up and go. So, like, I feel like, as long as I have the right one-prizers in, Buzzwole is good, and Zoroark is good. So it leaves the Malamar mirror, whether it's the Psychic or the Ultra build, doesn't really matter. That becomes a foot race. And so that's nothing I'm not familiar with. Like, I've played aggressive decks pretty much my entire time in the game almost. Like, that's my style.
Okay, well, I actually have a viewer question. Big Bear SDK asks, how do you feel about T. Nunsky's choice of a banana as a snack over corn during the round 1 match?
We learned that banana is a tier 3 fruit, is what I saw when I came into the chat on your stream after my match. I saw that was what people learned from it. Personally, I mean, I'm a carnivore. I don't know what vegetables are. Okay. But I would have probably chosen, like, an orange, or maybe even an apple.
Oh, over corn.
Corn would have been. I mean, I guess corn's not, like, corn isn't a vegetable. I don't want to get technical.
Whoa, like, yeah, I don't know, buddy. We're breaching into some dark territory here. You better.
Yeah, it's kind of a start.
We may have to cut this interview off quick, everyone. This is a.
I think I would in that scenario pick the corn over.
Corn. All right, we got a corn winner, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, especially because, I mean, you have to figure, like, Korn is a pretty good band. I mean, I've seen them live. They put on a killer show.
There you go.
So that's
And what's a banana ever put on, right?
I mean, what does banana have for, like, they have what, Bananarama? I would
weak.
Give me Freak on a Leash over Venus.
All right, today we learned Heretic will take Freak on a Leash over Bananarama. So from there, I want to ask you, so you mop the floor with T Dunsky here. You've now won your round 2 match. You're moving into round 3 in the winners bracket. How are you feeling for the rest of the event? Do you think that you've got one of the strongest decks in the field? You've got the whole winners bracket to go, and then potentially, wherever, if you end up in the loser side, where that would be. How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'm pretty confident. I'm very comfortable with this list. Like I said, before I've been playing it for a long time. Just minor tinks here and there, like kind of tinkering with my couple of non-GX attackers. I'm feeling pretty confident. Like I feel like this list could have made a deep run at NAIC. I feel like it can take me a long way. I feel like it's a very comfortable pick for me, which is definitely helpful. And like it's proven it's like I feel like it's proven itself in my gameplay. I mean, my win rate between PDCGO, which is a little different, like laddering and stuff, but then between the 2 winning in tournaments now, and then the League Cup that I won, the Nick Bailey Open, and some side events at Intercons or NAIC, whatever. I'll call it my side events at Intercontinentals. That's just for Milan Maniac right there.
There you go, Milan. Shout out to you.
He loves when I call it Intercontinentals instead of Internationals.
There you go. Shout out, Milan.
But I'm just gonna throw that out there. Which, by the way, he is a spy. I'm gonna throw that out there too.
Oh, good to know.
Milan Maniac is a spy.
Oh, I get that too. Actually, funny enough, I'm always said that I'm a spy in Resistance. So
But
maybe we're both spies.
There you go. But no, I feel like this deck can take me a long way.
Okay.
I feel like I could have made a deep run at NAIC, and I feel like I can do that again here. So very, very confident with it. Very comfortable.
All right.
And definitely looking forward to the remaining rounds.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. I have one more question for you. It comes from Brittany4, my significant other, actually. But she asks, what's your favorite tournament match you've ever played? Or favorite tournament, either one.
Okay, well, my favorite tournament. Oh wow. Okay, so, and it's crazy to think like I am actually a former regional champion, but probably before like any of this stuff happened, because it was back in 2002. It was like this weird structure that Wizards of the Coast had when they ran the game, where you win a regional and then you get your Worlds invite. And this was when Wizards ran, so it was TCG only. So it's not like TPCI or any of that. And so I got my Worlds invite when I was 14. And went out to Seattle, and I still have the T-shirt from like my competitor T-shirt. It still fits me. I wear it to events sometimes.
That's awesome.
But like that, it's hard for me not to pick a regional that I won. But I would have to say my favorite tournament in terms of like when I played was Nationals in summer of 2015. That was when Archie's Blastoise. When people finally, after months of me playing it and raking up CP with it after I already had my Worlds invite. And I go in with this deck because Trump card just got banned. Toad Shaman was dead. So it was back to Toad Garb, Toad Bats. And I was going in just like, I already got my invite, no pressure to do well. I feel like this deck can beat anything. It has no worse than a 50-50 with pretty much every meta deck. Like some rogue decks might be able to be a problem, but like every meta deck at the time, there's nothing worse than 50-50 with Archie's Blastoise at the time. No one took it seriously. I wasn't going to hit mirror matches. And even like Seismitoad, it's like, oh, you lose to Toad. No, like if I get JBW proved that wrong at Worlds. But like, if you get the turn 1 Blastoise, you beat Toad. If you don't, you lose. Mm-hmm. But you have like a 75-80% chance of hitting it. So like I went in that tournament and I went 6-1-2 in day 1 because I ID'd my last round of Swiss. Just to get into day 2, because I was just kind of like, whatever. Like, I'd rather ID in than risk bubbling at 6-2-1. And went into day 2, and day 2 was pretty crazy. I ran, I think I lost to Stefan Tobacco. He was playing Primal Groudon. And I lost to Christy Britton in what would have been my winning in top 8. I drew game 3. I think I opened with probably the worst hand I've ever seen, at least from that deck, if not from anything in my life. But I had some really, really great series in that tournament. I'd say one great one I had with my friend Joshua Sutherland in day 2. He was playing Seismitoad, Manectric, Garbodor, and I just managed to edge him out, get the Blastoise running, first turn a couple times. We went to a game 3, so it was a lot of crazy stuff. Getting to just being able to lay down enough damage like that deck I felt like was like the literal definition of my play style, which is I'm not going to try to get cute and set things up, you know, and be all intricate. Like I just want to throw my attacker down and just go straight for their Pokemon's throat, you know, and like I had a match with Carl Shu, another friend of mine, in day one, and he was playing Metal, and he had like, it was like Metal toolbox, Bronzong toolbox, he had like Dialga, Seismitoad, Mewtwo, and game 1 and game 3 are very similar. Like game 2, I whiffed the turn 1, he Toadlumped me, but game 3 especially, like I go first, turn 1 Blastoise, bam, 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 leave like a 1 Prizer up in the active. He sets something up, so I go knockout 6 or 7 energy Keldeo, knockout 2 prizes. He goes Mewtwo, double colorless. I think he had a Bronzong, so he Metal Linked onto it before he brought it up, if he even needed to. Depends. I don't remember if it was 6 or 7 energies on the Keldeo, but it was a clean knockout with X. and he ends me down to 4 before he does it. So I'm like, okay, Keldeo, bam, 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 6 energies, knockout. And so he ends me down to 2, revives his Mewtwo, Metal Links, double colorless, knock out the Keldeo. Like, okay, so I'm down to 2 cards. But the problem at that point is that my entire deck is Trainer Mail, Acrobike, Superior Energy Retrieval, Verse Seekers, and maybe a Sycamore. Like, there's no way I miss. I've got double Execute and discard piles, so I can pay for my Superiors are free. And like, I'm getting 2 cards plus the one off the top deck card. You know, so it's like there's the odds that I don't hit something. I mean, it's virtually 0. I feel like at this point, because all I need to hit is 2 Superiors and I win.
Yep.
And so it's just like, okay, well, I mean, everything I have in here is either a Superior or a card that's going to get me a Superior. I don't have to hit them simultaneously. I can play one, then play a supporter or whatever off a Versus Seeker, play Sycamore, hit something that's another one, you know. So he ends me to 2, hoping it'll stick, and I like, which is absolutely what I would have done. But the problem was, like I said, there was just no way that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, Battle Compressors had cleaned out the deck. I had another Keldeo on the board. It just did not matter.
Yeah.
And that's like that. So those games will always kind of be special to me. And then at St. Louis a year ago, I had a really great day 2 matchup with WRHeretic. He was playing Volcanion, and I had taken Vespiquen Vileplume to that tournament because I had already given up on my invite and for last season, and I just wanted to play the deck while it was still playable. And even though it was outdated, and I was like, you know what? If I go first, I run hot, I can do this. We ended up going 7-2 in day 1, so I got into day 2, and when we're in game 1, I had the Vileplume out, and he knocks out one of my Vespiquens, and I promote, like, me and Chris Collins had talked like a year prior about putting a Wobbuffet in there with Vibe Barricade. And so, like, I brought that up, and then I immediately played, like, some kind of item card, like an Ultra Ball, picked up my deck to start searching, and he's like, no, you have Vileplume, and I was like, Wobbuffet. And he looks, and he's like, wait a minute, what? I was like, Vibe Barricade. I can play items. So he's just looking to this, like, realizing he can Lysander himself out of item lock now. I pulled something, Sycamored, hit a Revitalizer, played that, dropped Combee and Vespiquen from the discard back onto the bench with Kills of Forest, the Giant Plants, attached a double colorless, dropped the Floatstone on the Wobbuffet, retreated, and killed him. And then basically the idea was every time a Vespiquen dies, you promote the Wobbuffet.
Yep.
Play your Revitalizer, and then go right back in.
Yep.
Now, he ended up winning that series because he went first game 1, game 3, very close. Game 2, I think he scooped when his first turn started because my board was just obnoxious. But that just means the deck was working.
Yeah, for sure.
That's basically what that was. The deck underlined all of the problems with Expanded.
Yeah, you got to play a deck that you wanted to play and still do well with it. Which is kind of like the Archie situation too. You went in playing what maybe everybody else thought wasn't the best meta deck, but it was what you felt was the best, and that gave you the best chance of doing well, and it worked.
And not having to play mirror matches is also really nice, because like mirror matches are inherently 50-50 unless you have like a tech for it and the other person doesn't. I remember that was a thing when the Szymanski brothers played Primal Groudon mirror at Toronto last year, top 4. One of them, Chris had Bundle D and Alex didn't.
Yep.
But like I just like, it was a deck that I played again. Like I wasn't, I was playing it just solely to have fun. And that's like, I think the biggest message I would send to pretty much everybody is that, like, I've noticed for me, when I stress myself out picking a deck, or I pick something that maybe I'm not enjoying as much because I'm like, oh, I got to do well. I got to play this deck. It's not my favorite deck to play, but I got to do, like, it doesn't typically run very well for me. Maybe it's not my style or whatever. And when I don't do well, I start to get really salty.
Yeah.
And so it's, like I tend to just naturally want to play decks that, like, if I take the game more lightheartedly, more for fun, I've also noticed that that's when I do better.
Yeah.
When
Absolutely.
I'm not as stressed out. So that's
so the moral of the story is play what's fun.
Yeah, it's the best. It sounds cheesy, but it's like, have fun. Like, make sure you pick a deck that you're comfortable playing, that you enjoy. Like, have fun with the game, because that's when I always do my best.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Heretic, I appreciate you coming on, man, taking the time to do the interview, especially with having a newborn, and and you've got another kid in the wings, so you've got your hands full right now, and with everything, and so congratulations again to you and your wife. I want to thank you for doing this. If you want to give yourself another quick shout out for your YouTube and everything, any Twitter handle or anything like that.
Yep, my YouTube is WRHeretic. Hopefully some new material by the end of this month, maybe going into next month. Pretty much everything I'm doing is PTCGO until Worlds almost. So definitely, if I'm still in the Winning In tournament when I get back home, maybe try to stream those. Twitch is WRHeretic. And also, yeah, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at WRHeretic. I post about my Pokemon stuff. I post about Steven Universe. I'm an avid fan of that show. All the lore, love the story, the overarching plot. So I do like a lot of that. Go to metal concerts, post pictures with the bands when I meet the band members. So it's more than just Pokemon. It's just a lot of stuff, that
it's just
like
you. It's you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just me as a whole. Like football stuff, all that. Like, I'm a big
Go Pack Go, right?
Yep. Bringing Andrew Luck back on the field this year.
Nah. We don't need any of that. Go Pack Go. Woo!
I am okay with the Packers.
Okay.
It would be my NFC team of choice. I'm okay with them. I like the fact that they're owned by the city, not by some rich snob.
There you go.
So I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I've been to a couple Colts games in my time. I like what Peyton Manning did for the game. So
I went to the it was a birthday present for me. It was the day after my birthday. I went to the 4th and 2 game with the Colts and the Patriots.
Really, that's awesome.
And I remember I was just I wanted to cry at half.
Well, yeah, of course, but you still got to say you've been to the game.
Well, and we won, and like when New England went for it on 4th down in their own territory, and they came up about a half inch short, like the ref held his hands up and was like they didn't signaling they didn't make it, and I swear Lucas Oil Stadium shook.
Just the whole thing was gonna come down. Yep.
Well, yeah, we are just like 29 yards to know. Like Peyton Manning's coming back out. There's no way he doesn't score the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
And so when they scored, it was like no one was surprised. We all knew. It's like and it was a beautiful thing to be able to do that. And I remember going in. Someone said to me, "Do you wish Tom Brady was injured?" And I said, "No. I want New England at their full strength so that when we beat them, there will be no excuses."
There you go. Awesome. Well, hey, man, I just want to thank you again for taking the time out to do this. I really, really appreciate it. Good luck with the rest of your winning in matches. I wish you the best on having a fantastic run, man. Once again, congratulations to you and your wife on your new son. And we'll call it there, man. Thanks. Have a great night.
All right. Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, so that was world-renowned Heretic. Moving on now into round 3 for the team winning a match. Right there is his YouTube that Big Bear just linked in there. So that kind of gives you an idea of like some of the interviews and stuff like that I'm looking forward to maybe bringing to the channel. Bring more players in, not just maybe players that play in winning, but just maybe players that you guys know. Getting to kind of talk to them, hear their thought process on certain matchups, maybe some of their experiences with the game and what makes the game great.